But I want to come to Yashwant. You've given your takeaways. Why don't you explain them to us? You're starting by said good contests results in better turnout than one-sided contests. Explain.
Well, Radhip, that whenever there is a good contest and there is a probability or the supporters of different political formations feel that they have a case at hand, there is a possibility of a winning fight, it always enthuses the support groups of both the sides, and that increases the turnout, and at least develops a healthy turnout in a way. But whenever this any particular domain that the results start feeling like it's not really working out for the people who are losing again and again, or it's not really going to be really bad for the people who are winning again and again. So there comes a kind of a complacency factor for the people who are leading, and there comes a factor which you can say a disheartening factor for the people who are losing. So because of that lopsidedness of the contest, many a times the turnout dips.
No, are you suggesting? Are you giving us a first big hint? Are you giving us a first big hint that you believe that the contest is lopsided and therefore that explains the low voter turnout, not so much the heat?
It is not just about the BJP and the Congress or in that way, Rajdeep, because how do you explain the drop of turnout in Kerala for that matter? So heat wave and all those things, Rajdeep, I genuinely believe they are just an excuse for both these sentiments for not going out to vote.
Okay. You've said that drop in turnout therefore is beyond north-south or BJP Congress. That's important. Remember, even states like Kerala, traditionally high voter turnout states, did not register a high voter turnout. So it's not as if the voter turnout is low in some parts and high in the other. It's across the country at the moment. Your third point is very interesting because it concerns your and my home state, or one of your home states and one of my home state, Maharashtra. You're saying voter apathy more evident in Maharashtra than other states. Can you explain what that means, especially given that this is one of the states that is expected to have a fierce contest?
Exactly, Rajdeep, and in the MOTN also, we consistently marked out in the last 2 years that basically it's the West Bengal and Maharashtra which these two states which are going to see the mother of all battles, But in the turnout sentiment, it is like contrasting, Rajdeep. On one hand, you see a really healthy turnout in West Bengal because each and every seat is looking a really fierce battle. On the other hand, Maharashtra, which should have been as high as West Bengal, in terms of spirit of democratic participation, you see a drop simply because each and every supporter of each and every party feels betrayed, feels, somewhere the mandate was dishonored. Not a single party actually went ahead what is to be done with the mandate that was given to them. All four major parties actually went and did something which was morally, ethically wrong. So that somehow it seems like, in a significantly larger way, to the core support base of all the four parties taking or going in a kind of a direction where they feel we don't even know if we vote that person or that party today, after the elections are over, they are not going to join the people we are voting against.
Right. Let me turn to Rahul Verma. Rahul Verma, why don't you pick your trends and explain that to us? You seem to say that it's not about so much turnout, but it's turnout among men and women as a starting point. Are you saying women more likely, as we've seen in previous Lok Sabha elections, to go with Prime Minister Modi and the BJP nationally? So the more women who come out to it and vote, better for the BJP at the moment?
Thank you, Rajdeep. So on turnout, I think everyone, like not everyone, but at least three of us agree that overall turnout does not tell us about incumbency. What seems to be happening, at least in my analysis for last two election cycle, it's not the aggregate turnout, but turnout among groups, which is making a difference in election outcomes. What seems to be happening that the groups that are more likely to vote for BJP are turning out at a much higher rate, and groups that are less likely to vote for BJP are either not turning out at par as average or below the average turnout. So what has happened in last decade of Indian politics, turnout among men and women, the gap has declined. In fact, in 2019, women turnout surpassed by a marginal percentage point. In 2024, when the overall turnout seems to be have declined, the turnout among men and women, the gap remains very, very low. And given that the BJP in last few elections after 2019, especially in UP, in Uttaranchal, in Assam, in many places where it won, had a great advantage among women voters. So if women continue to turn out in large numbers and continue to repose faith in BJP and Prime Minister Modi because of largely the welfare schemes, perhaps that may be one of the reasons, but also the mobilizational strategy that BJP has adopted, which we generally don't discuss, it would be sort of like important factor to look in the run up to 2024. So not the total turnout, but turnout groups is my first sort of like.
Your second takeaway is opposition presence on social media quite high. Has that changed? Has that created counter narratives on the ground? Unlike in 2019, people are talking about issues like Rozgar in a manner that they were not talking in 2019.
Absolutely. So penetration of social media between 2019 and 2024 has sort of like helped the opposition to be able to at least put its messages out. Where opposition still lacks, and especially the Congress party, they don't have the ground machinery to be able to translate it into votes as BJP has. But the online presence, the gap which the advantage that BJP had in 2019 has seemed to basically gone down. And this is why after sort of like pre-poll surveys came out, and everyone thought that this election is a done deal, BJP is far ahead. What we have seen is election becoming uncertain. And it has become uncertain because one couple of sort of like things that BJP did, up ki bar 400 par, or corruption and other things. Opposition managed to pick on some of those things, created its own and crafted its own narrative. And that has given sort of like a momentum to its campaign. Whether it will translate in votes for the opposition on ground, that's a different matter. But at least the battle on social media seemed to be equally pitched.
BJP's candidate selection you have put as your other takeaway. I mean, this is a party that has changed more than 110 of their 303 sitting MPs. What are you trying to say here?
See, I think it may not be the most important factor, since BJP is a cadre-based party and ideological party and all of those things, and is driven by Prime Minister Modi's popularity. But two things which BJP has done, and it has been part of BJP's politics for now some time. One, almost 100 of sitting MPs have been dropped. Second, almost 100 new candidates in BJP have come from other parties. These two things are going to create some sort of like problems for the organizational machinery on the ground. Especially the committed BJP cadre has to now mobilize for candidates against whom they were fighting for so many years. And this has also created a problem where opposition has succeeded, that many of these candidates also deal corruption charges. And so now, BJP members or BJP party workers have to explain what has gone down on the ground as BJP becoming washing machine, right? How do you explain to voters that these are also politicians who have alleged criminal record, while you are targeting opposition parties and opposition candidates on corruption? What are you going to say about these things? And just to like conclude, I don't know whether this would matter a lot, but the Pranjal Revanna's case in Karnataka, or Braj Bhushan Saran Singh's son getting ticket in Kasarganj, Uttar Pradesh, they might not impact a lot, but in certain segments of basically what I will call as fence-sitting BJP voter who might have voted for the party in 2019 because of multiple things, but generally does not buy BJP's ideology or ideologically committed voters, they may get a little bit sort of like apathetic that BJP, which claims to be a party with a difference, ultimately in game of power politics is pursuing very similar strategies.